Welcome to the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education's video series on educator evaluation. This video explores how to go about managing the educator evaluation process in order to ensure that it is a priority for the district and in schools. This video will also feature a Missouri principal and her ideas on efficiently and effectively managing time to allow for providing support for teacher improvement. Growing the practice of teachers requires an investment. First and foremost, it is an investment of time, a resource in very limited supply in the lives of school principals. Administrators have only so many hours in a day to devote to the many responsibilities they face. While growing the practice of their teachers is a priority, there are still the many challenges that make up the reality of being a school principal. Even as the administrator attempts to spend increased time and effort focused on the improvement of teaching and learning, the school must still be managed. How the administrator chooses to address the issue of time has very real consequences on how effective he or she will be in improving practice. Although administrators may have the appropriate skill set and the desire to be more involved in leading instructional improvement, data shows they can spend up to 75% of their time on management issues. As the leader of a building with multiple teachers of differing grade levels and content, this creates a serious issue. It will require administrators to be very intentional about where and how they choose to spend the limited time they have. Key considerations for keeping the process manageable include 1. Establish focus. Create a detailed calendar for the principal. 2. Emphasize an effective process. Delegate some managerial tasks. And 3. Make the time. Shift time from management to instruction. A necessary and important first step is to have a clear understanding of exactly how the principal is currently spending their time. Maintaining a very detailed and accurate calendar is an important way of gathering and analyzing data on how their time is allocated. This can often create a very real tension between where the administrator actually spends their time as opposed to where they feel they ought to be spending their time. With this data in hand, administrators can work to intentionally distribute some of their managerial tasks to others who can address issues that often occupy the administrator's time. The administrator must also set goals to engage in activities related to instructional improvement and begin to shift a percentage of the time spent on management to time spent on instruction. Scheduling is an important strategy as well. Creating a schedule that allows an administrator to be out in classrooms observing teaching and learning is important, but only a first step. Sticking to the schedule is critical. Often, administrators most successful at this are able to do it because of help from others on staff. In particular, an administrative assistant who helps to protect the administrator's instructional time, making it a priority of their day, is critical to their success.
As a leader of a building, the most important thing that we can do is to help teachers grow. And when you talk about leverage in your building and the things that have the most leverage throughout your day, being in the classrooms and watching the teaching practices inside your building is the most important thing you can do as an instructional leader. It's very crucial as the instructional leader that you manage your time well, because getting into the classrooms is where you're going to see the impact and the practice of the commitment of the teachers. And so having good time management is critical as the instructional leader. You can spend your day in a lot of ways, and we all know that there's a lot of fires that you could put out on a daily basis, but being proactive in your planning and making sure you're in the places that you need to be that are going to have the most movement for your students inside your building is what you should be doing, in my opinion, as an instructional leader. Effective time management looks like finding the things in your building that have leverage for your students and for your staff, getting rid of the management throughout the day. I shouldn't say getting rid of the management, but prioritizing it, finding the things that matter in your building and making sure that you proactively plan your day. to me, priorities are things that don't go away. They're still going to be there tomorrow. They're the things that carry the leverage in your building, where an urgent need might be something that's gone tomorrow and usually can be delegated to someone other than yourself. The evaluation process is key to helping teachers get better. To just stay stagnant and not to have a path or a road to follow is fatal, in my opinion. I feel like the evaluation tool now gives us a roadmap for success. It shows us strategies and techniques of the most effective classrooms. And so that would be a road we want to follow. That's where we want to go in our district. We want to talk about growth. And we don't want it to be just a summative in nature, that it's over, it's a one time at the end of the year. It needs to be formative and consistent and constantly going on in your building. With evaluation, I make sure that I find the time to get in the classrooms. And how I do that is I meet daily with my secretary and talk about the places that I need to be for that week or that day ahead. And on Monday, typically, she plans my week out. I'll tell her which classrooms I want to be in, and then she builds my schedule for me, which is a wonderful thing. It doesn't seem like it would take a lot of time, but it's surprising when you really sit down and take a hard look at how you spend your day, how much time you spend filling in a calendar, sending out the emails, to have a meeting afterwards after you've done the evaluation. So meeting with her daily and weekly to plan out the week and get into the classrooms has been the biggest time winner for me, because she takes care of all of that for me. And then I just make sure that I don't move those unless it's a major emergency. I also plan time for parent phone calls. At the end of the day, if a parent calls and they really, really need me, my secretary will let them know that I will make that call at 2 o'clock, and that's what time I make parent phone calls. So it's just really putting a focus on getting in the classrooms and protecting your time. And a lot of times she will let parents know, I'm sorry, Mrs. Ulrich, I can't speak with you at this time. Not that this is not a priority for her, but she's in a third grade classroom watching a math lesson at this time. Can she get back with you, or can someone else help you with what you need? And that really puts a focus on instruction in my building with parents as well as teachers, staff, and students. We did create a list of first responders, and when I first started managing my time in this way, I met with my entire staff and spoke to them about if they see me in the hallway and they need me and I seem a little standoffish to them, it's not because that what they have to say is not important, but I'm usually on my way somewhere and I don't want to be late. And so we talk about time winners and time losers. And so there have been some time losers. You can't just catch me at the last minute and expect me to go check the water leak in the third grade restroom. And the staff understands that and they respect that, and we've done really well with that. Also, I have some first responders who have been delegated some things that they maybe have not taken care of in the past, but they too have an appreciation for that and a respect for that, and know that the work I'm doing is based on instruction and our students. So they're very good at communicating back to me if something has been delegated down to them through my secretary. They usually get back with her regarding that, and then the next morning she reports that back to me in our meeting, or they're very good about communicating through email, so that I still am aware of what's going on in the building, but I don't have to be the first to respond to everything. I don't know that I have extra time at work, but what I have found is I have extra time at home. And I feel like that when I go home, I took care of the big rocks in my building that day. I don't go home feeling like things are left undone. I tend to enjoy myself more outside of work, and I'm not taking all of my work home with me. So I don't know that I have extra time in the building, but I feel like the time I have in the building is spent more effectively.
This increased time spent on instructional activities allows an administrator to focus on teaching and learning and ensure an appropriate amount of time is spent on evaluating performance and providing meaningful feedback. You can find more information regarding the essential principles of effective evaluation and the state's new model, Educator Evaluation System, on the Office of Educator Quality's homepage at desi.mo.gov/EQ.